Avantgardey became a viral sensation on America's Got Talent, but there's a part of their story the show never aired. Most fans believe they were just a quirky dance group that wowed the judges and disappeared too soon. But here's the new info. They were secretly brought back as a wild card after being eliminated, and only 2 days before the finale, they were forced to rewrite their entire performance due to a copyright crisis. That's the twist AGT never told you. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what happened, why the producers had no choice, and how Avantgardey turned chaos into one of the most unforgettable moments in AGT history. Nobody expected 20 girls in school uniforms to steal the show, but when Avantgardey stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage, jaws dropped instantly. The group moved in perfect sync, their faces serious, yet strangely funny. People were frozen in awe. This wasn't your typical dance routine. They weren't just performing. They were telling a story, each expression timed like clockwork. Their style was weird in the best way possible. That moment, the audience knew they were witnessing something unforgettable. But here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't a group born in the spotlight. These girls had traveled thousands of miles from Japan, fueled by passion and a dream to perform on the world's biggest stage. With zero backup dancers, no flashy props, just pure skill and originality, they stood out in a sea of glitter and noise. And that's just the beginning. You won't believe what happened next. They weren't just dancers. They were a mystery wrapped in rhythm. Avantgardey wasn't born on a TV stage. Their story began in the busy streets of Osaka, Japan in 2022. At first, they were just a quirky local group, 20 girls with matching bob haircuts and school uniforms, moving like a single machine. But there was something magnetic about them. Their faces twisted into dramatic expressions, their timing flawless. People couldn't look away. Their videos started spreading online like wildfire. And suddenly, they weren't just a dance group, they were a phenomenon. But hold that thought, because it connects to something even crazier. They didn't just go viral. They got the chance to perform with DJ Steve Aoki, a massive name in music. That single moment launched them onto the international stage. It sounds crazy, but it's true. From the back alleys of Osaka to performing with global superstars, Avantgardey's rise was fast and loud, and they were only getting started. Don't scroll yet. What happens next will blow your mind. One performance changed everything, and it didn't even happen on a real stage. When Avantgardey hit YouTube Fan Fest in Singapore, no one knew their names. But then, in the middle of a mall, they started dancing on a granite surface at Marina Bay Sands. No lights, no stage crew, just 20 girls, flawless timing, and some of the weirdest and most wonderful moves people had ever seen. Their heads bobbed in sync, arms moving like puppets, faces full of quirky emotion. Shoppers froze, phones came out, and within 24 hours, that TikTok clip had over 1.2 million views. But that's not all. People couldn't stop comparing them to characters like Miss Swan from Mad TV or Edna Mode from The Incredibles. They were strange, funny, and hypnotic all at once. And that strange magic? It stuck. It made people laugh. It made people curious. And it made them impossible to forget. Stick with me, because now the real spotlight hits. Before they wowed America, they already had their own country hooked. Back in Japan, Avantgardey had taken their act to the national stage. Literally, when they appeared on Japan's Got Talent in late 2022, they weren't just contestants. They were lightning in a bottle. Their routines were sharp, hilarious, and unlike anything the judges had ever seen. Each step, each stare, each odd little smirk drew roars from the crowd. By the end of their set, the audience wasn't just clapping, they were obsessed. Now here's the twist. That moment didn't just make them famous. It turned them into a cultural movement. Suddenly, these school uniform dancers were being talked about in homes, in classrooms, and on national TV. They had shown the world a different side of Japanese art, one that was bold, bizarre, and totally unforgettable. And just like that, they were no longer a local act. They were Japan's newest stars. But trust me, it's about to get even wilder. When they stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage, they weren't there to blend in. They came to shock the world. Avantgardey entered the AGT spotlight in matching black and white dresses, standing still, serious, and focused. The crowd wasn't sure what to expect. Then the music hit, a funky, retro Japanese tune called Cinderella, Honeymoon by Hiromi Iwasaki. And just like that, the room lit up. The girls moved with jaw-dropping precision, their faces full of strange, theatrical expressions. It was like a living cartoon, funny, sharp, and totally mesmerizing. The audience couldn't take their eyes off them. But listen to this. They weren't just dancing to entertain. They were showing America what they called Japanese soul. This wasn't a routine. It was a performance full of culture, pride, and perfection. When the music ended and the girls struck their final pose, the entire room exploded with applause. Standing ovation, judges on their feet, the crowd roaring, and that's just where their American journey begins. They didn't just impress the judges, they left them speechless. After Avantgardey finished their performance, the reaction was instant. Heidi Klum said she could feel their Japanese soul. Sofia Vergara called it something she had never seen before. Even Simon Cowell, known for being brutally honest, called it genius. The energy in the room was electric. Everyone, from the crowd to the hosts, was completely hooked. And in that moment, it felt like Avantgardey was unstoppable. But it gets crazier. They got 4 big yeses and a ticket to the next round. Fans were calling them the most original act of the season. Online clips of their performance were being watched by millions. They weren't just another dance group. They were becoming the face of something new, something bold, something unforgettable. The world was starting to realize that Avantgardey wasn't just here to compete. They were here to make history. Keep watching. What happened next will shock you. Just when everyone thought they were a sure bet for the finals, everything fell apart. Despite the love from fans and glowing praise from the judges, Avantgardey was suddenly eliminated from the competition. No warning, no explanation that made sense. The audience was stunned. Online, fans erupted in confusion and frustration. How could a group that just delivered one of the most unforgettable performances be sent home? But that's when everything changed. AGT pulled a surprise twist. Avantgardey was brought back as a wild card. It was the second chance nobody saw coming, and everyone was begging for. The moment they were announced, the energy shifted. Fans were thrilled. The judges were curious. The pressure was on. Could they top their original performance after being knocked down? Stick with me, because what happened next tested them like never before. 2 days before the biggest performance of their lives, disaster hit. Avantgardey had prepared a brand new routine for the AGT finale, but then they were hit with a legal nightmare. Copyright issues forced them to scrap the entire performance. With only 48 hours left, they had to rebuild everything from scratch. New music, new choreography, new staging. Most groups would have panicked. Most would have cracked under the pressure. But here's why that matters. Avantgardey didn't flinch. They locked in, stayed up late, and rebuilt their performance with incredible focus and creativity. They refused to let anything ruin their second chance. The moment they stepped onto that stage again, it wasn't just about dance. It was about grit, passion, strength. They turned a near disaster into a defining moment. Keep watching, because their final performance was unforgettable. When the lights came up for the AGT finale, Avantgardey delivered a performance no one saw coming. After scrambling to rebuild their routine in just 2 days, they hit the stage with fire. The new dance was sharp, intense, and somehow even more powerful than before. Every move landed perfectly. Every expression was bold. The audience watched in silence at first, stunned, then exploded in applause. It was magic, pure magic. They had taken chaos and turned it into art. But here's the painful part. Despite their show-stopping performance, Avantgardey didn't win. The final results came in, and their name wasn't called. Fans were heartbroken. Social media lit up with outrage. People couldn't believe it. Judges were clearly disappointed too. After everything they'd overcome, after becoming the heartbeat of the season, it felt like a gut punch. But hold that thought, because their story wasn't over yet. Losing, AGT didn't stop them. It launched them. Even without the trophy, Avantgardey became one of the most talked about acts of the season. Their style was unforgettable. Their story was inspiring. And their fanbase? Growing by the second. Soon, international invitations started pouring in. Shows in other countries, special appearances, and the biggest dream of all, performing in Las Vegas, the city of lights and legends. And guess what? It's already in motion. Now here's the twist. What started as a quirky dance group from Osaka turned into a global sensation. Their mix of discipline, humor, and wild creativity struck a chord with people everywhere. They didn't just perform, they made people feel something. And now, they're just getting started. Whether it's on TV, social media, or the biggest stages in the world, Avantgardey is here to stay. Trust me, the best part of their story might still be coming.